This is our Sword Bible memory card. These cards go home the first Sunday of the month with our children, and it also goes out on our Roots BC Kids newsletter through email at the beginning of each month. Let me give you a few pointers for how this works in your classroom. Yes, this is something that they are supposed to be doing at home with their parents, but you are also going to go over it at the beginning of class on a weekly basis. So let's start with our preschoolers. Our preschoolers are going to go straight here to our blue verse. And this blue circle is our simple root verse, if you will, of the month. So what happens is once they memorize this verse, they're going to get 5 BC Bucks to spend at our BC Buck store. And I'll talk a little bit more about the store in a moment. So the first time that they are able to memorize it and say it to you is when they're getting those 5 BC Bucks. So if they continue to say it week after week after that, they're not continuing to get 5 BC Bucks every week. It's only the first time that they say it. A great way to teach it is for you to throw in some hand motions with them. I'll provide you with some games for them to play with the verses so that they can memorize it. So again, if you have preschoolers, so that is our 2-year-old and 3-year-old class, this is the verse that you will focus on with them. So let's move to our lower elementary. Our lower elementary is gonna bump it up a little more, and they're gonna go here to our green square, okay? So they're gonna be memorizing a little bit more. So here's what happens. If they memorize the green square and the blue circle, they then have the opportunity to get 10 BC Bucks, okay? So if they memorize just the green, they only get 5. If they memorize just the blue, they only get 5. But if they memorize the green and the blue, then they're gonna get 10 BC Bucks. And again, it's not 10 BC Bucks every time that they say it. It's 10 BC Bucks the first time that they are able to memorize it and say it. And yes, we do want them to be able to say the book and the chapter and the verse that the scripture comes from. Moving up to our upper elementary, they're going to come up here at the top with our orange triangle, okay? And so as you can see, they have quite a bit more that we're shooting for them to be able to memorize, okay? Now, yes, they do have the opportunity to just memorize that blue circle and get 5 BC Bucks. They do have the opportunity to remember just the green and the blue and get 10. But our goal for our older elementary kids is for them to memorize the orange, the green, and the blue, the entire thing. That is very appropriate for them. And if we are practicing it at home and in class on a weekly basis, then they should be able to do that. Verses are retroactive, so if they don't memorize the September verse until October, they can still earn bucks with you in October for their September verse if it just takes them a little longer to learn it. And then that also gives them the opportunity to save up more bucks and to be able to buy some bigger ticket items in the BC Bucks store. You each will have a notebook in your classroom with your kids' names listed, and you'll be able to check off the verses that they memorize. So for example, if you need to be out and they're going to say the verse to a sub, the sub can mark that in your notebook and you will know that they have said it so that you don't end up accidentally doubling up on their BC Bucks. Okay. Just a couple of more tips for you guys. Right now you can see that the card is laid out with our orange and then our green and our blue. It's important to mention that each month they're going to be in a different order. So some months you might have the blue circle at the beginning. Just know that what you need to focus on with your kids is always going to be this right here. So if you are a preschool teacher, you are always going to focus on the blue circle. If you are one of our 1st through 3rd grade teachers or even our pre-K teachers, you are going to focus on the green square and the blue circle. If you are an upper elementary teacher, our 4th through 6th graders, you're going to focus on the whole portion of it. There are even some months where there are 4 verses. There might be 2 orange triangles or 2 green squares. And just know that that's an opportunity for them to earn even more BC Bucks, but that the expectation is for them to remember an entire passage of Scripture. So this is our BC Bucks store, just to give you an idea of what this looks like. Normally it will be fully stocked for things. Our BC Bucks stores will take place in March, June, September, and December will be a special Christmas store each year where they can buy gifts and things for siblings and parents and family members and stuff. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what this looks like. If you want to look more closely, you'll be able to see that items are labeled with blue tags, and that will let you know how many BC Bucks each item costs. So anywhere from $5 up. We do have some things that are $1 or $2 and things like that. So just so you know how that works, these are what our BC Bucks look like. So these are the 5s. This is what you will deal with the most. You should only need our 1s if you're making change for a kiddo when they shop at the BC Bucks store. So when it's time for BC Bucks store, I'll let you all know. I'll send you reminders that it's time for the BC Bucks store, and it'll be built into your class time that Sunday to bring your class out to the BC Bucks store, and you'll be in charge of managing their bucks and them spending. There's bags for them to put their goodies and things in to take home with them. So you'll be in charge of bringing your class out here, helping them to shop at the store, spend their bucks, make change for them, make decisions, and then allowing the next class to come. So be looking for more information when the time comes for that in our first quarterly BC Bucks store in December. So obviously our goal in children's ministry is to shepherd all of these children towards salvation. So if you have a kiddo who is asking you a great deal of questions, is wanting to know more about that, we have these cards that are going to be inside your Sword Bible Memory Notebook. And these cards kind of lay it all out for you. It kind of takes a little bit of that process and kind of simplifies it for kids. So just look for this card in there, and it opens up and it kind of goes through and shows you the questions, the scriptures that you might want to talk over. On the very back is the very brief, very easy for you to teach through the ABCs of salvation and the specific scriptures that you can look up and go over with the child. So if a child's asking you questions and you need a little extra help with guiding them on that, then feel free to use this resource. Outside of that, if you've got a kiddo that you think is ready for baptism or to continue that discussion, then bring them to my attention and I will be more than happy to sit down with them. There's a book that I like to go over with them, and then we can do that and kind of see where we're ready and lead them towards their salvation and baptism.